He seemed like an ordinary guy, calm, quiet, polite, but behind the closed doors of his apartment, a true nightmare was hiding. He didn't just kill, he photographed. He dismembered, he boiled, he tried to create zombies and ate his victims and with a spoon. But the most terrifying part? He could have been stopped. This is the story of one of the most brutal serial killers in American history, Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer was born on May 21, 1960, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. As a child, he was quiet and withdrawn, and nothing seemed to foreshadow the tragedy to come. Although there were early warning signs, he showed an interest in dead animals, collecting their bones and dissecting carcasses. His father, a chemist by profession, once showed him how to boil bones clean. This became the beginning of a horrifying obsession. During his teenage years, Dahmer began to exhibit signs of alcoholism and social isolation. He realized he was homosexual early on, but kept it hidden. Gradually, fantasies of domination and control became an inseparable part of his sexual desires. 1978. He was 18, fresh out of high school. He picked up a hitchhiker, Stephen Hicks, invited him home, had some drinks. When Hicks wanted to leave, Dahmer killed him with a dumbbell. He dismembered the body and dissolved the remains in acid. After that, he went silent for nearly 9 years. In 1987, he started again, this time for real. Nearly all of his victims were young men between the ages of 14 and 32. Most were Latino, Asian, or Black. His victims were mostly men from vulnerable social groups. He targeted them in gay bars, at bus stations, in shopping centers. He preferred Black and Latino men, something that would later become a key element in the public outrage surrounding the case. He knew who to choose. Those who, as he would later say, no one would come looking for. He lured men to his apartment by offering money for photos in underwear. There, he spiked their drinks with sleeping pills, and once they passed out, he strangled them, then began the dismemberment. But even that wasn't enough. He began experimenting with skulls, drilling holes and pouring in acid, trying to create living zombies who wouldn't be able to leave him. Some died in excruciating agony, others literally melted in acid. One of the most brutal cases was that of 14-year-old Konorak Synthasamphone. He escaped from Dahmer's apartment, half naked, injured, and drugged. Neighbors found him and called the police, but Dahmer told them he was his drunk boyfriend. The police handed Konorak back to the killer. An hour later, the boy was dead. The officers didn't check his ID, didn't question his age. They simply believed the white man and ignored the Asian teenager. This would later be called one of the most shameful examples of racist police negligence in U.S. history. The Milwaukee police ignored complaints from neighbors. People heard screams, reported strange smells, but no one listened. Perhaps because most of the victims were Black and gay. This case became a symbol of systemic indifference toward vulnerable communities. Dahmer knew exactly what he was doing. He said,
"I didn't choose them because of their skin color. It's just that Black and Latino men were more likely to say yes, and if they went missing, no one would come looking."
He was right, and that's the most terrifying part. From the late 80s until 1991, he killed 16 people. July 22, 1991, Milwaukee, just an ordinary evening. Jeffrey Dahmer meets a new man at a bar, Tracy Edwards. Tall, confident, friendly. As always, Dahmer offers money for a photo shoot, and they head back to his apartment. The place immediately feels off. A heavy stench, windows tightly covered, a strange mess everywhere. Trash bags all over, a yellowish glow from the lamps, and in the corner, a large blue barrel reeking of chemicals and rot. Dahmer turns on the TV. It's playing a scene from The Exorcist 3, his favorite. He offers a drink, and suddenly, he snaps a handcuff onto Tracy's wrist. Tracy forces a smile, trying to stay calm, but he knows he's trapped. Dahmer pulls out a knife and whispers,
"I want to eat your heart."
For several agonizing minutes, he sits beside him. The tension builds, but at one point, Dahmer loses focus. Tracy strikes him, knocks him down, and bolts from the apartment, half naked, a handcuff still dangling from one wrist. Outside, he flags down a police car. At first, they don't believe him, but he insists. "He tried to kill me." The officers agree to go back with him. When Dahmer opens the door, he smiles. calmly invites them in, as if nothing had happened. But one of the officers decides to check the room. He opens a drawer and finds Polaroid photos of dismembered bodies. Real, clear, horrific. They grab Dahmer, slam him to the ground, cuff him. He doesn't resist, doesn't scream, doesn't cry. He only whispers,
"I did it, all of it. You'll find more."
They found 3 heads in the refrigerator, 2 hearts and a liver in the freezer, a barrel filled with dissolved bodies, half a skeleton under the bed, a pot of meat on the stove, dozens of photos on the walls, as if he kept a diary in Polaroids. The police were in shock. None of them had ever seen anything like it. One officer later said,
I felt something die inside me when I saw it. Everything I thought I knew about humanity was gone.
And that's how Jeffrey Dahmer's freedom came to an end. After his arrest, Jeffrey Dahmer denies nothing. He confesses immediately. With complete calm, he describes each murder, the dismemberment, the photos. His interrogation lasts over 60 hours.
"I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't stop."
In court, he appears calm, sitting in glasses, wearing prison clothes, unbothered by cameras, the press, or the screams of the victims' families. He doesn't ask for forgiveness. He doesn't beg for his life. He simply says,
"I know I deserve death. I wasn't looking for excuses. I just wanted control. I wanted people to stay."
The jury finds him guilty on 15 counts of murder. He is sentenced to 957 years in prison. Jeffrey Dahmer became a full-blown media figure. Newspapers, reports, talk shows. His face was on every news broadcast. But the strangest part came later. He started receiving letters. Hundreds of them. Most were from women. They sent photos, told him they understood him, claimed he wasn't guilty, and even confessed their love. Some sent money to his prison account. Others proposed marriage. "You're not a monster, you're just a broken boy no one ever understood," they wrote. Some even called themselves Dahmer girls. They believed he was different, that he had changed. His story gave rise to a cult-like sympathy for the serial killer. The phenomenon was eventually named hybristophilia, a sexual attraction to criminals. Dahmer himself said,
"I don't understand why they write to me. I'm not some romantic hero. I killed people."
But the letters never stopped. November 28th, 1994. Dahmer was cleaning a bathroom in the prison shower area with 2 other inmates. One of them was Christopher Scarver, a fellow prisoner convicted of murder. No one was watching. The cameras weren't working. The guards had left. 20 minutes later, officers found Dahmer on the floor, his skull smashed with a metal bar. He was still breathing, but unresponsive. He died shortly after in the hospital. Scarver would later say,
That man was the embodiment of evil. He giggled when his victims screamed. He joked about eating people. And I just couldn't take it anymore.
And that's how the story of Jeffrey Dahmer ended. Not in a courtroom, not with the sound of a gavel, but in a prison shower, silent and soaked in blood, just like most of his victims.